way I formulated for the fuck of
In
it.
the beginning of
In
it?
the beginning, I'm still bothered by the looseness with which I talked about rape. And I don't think I have in me the eloquence or the skill to improve on that. I think in general, it's trying to find the right words to describe the historically accurate thing, the data that we have, and then the narratives. I think the point Jack Weatherford makes is that we keep oscillating back and forth on Genghis Khan.
Mm-hmm.
He's one like this epic, great conqueror. Like currently, Alexander the Great has that good vibes all around him. Nobody talks about him as a horrible human.
Horrible human.
Yeah, but currently, Genghis Khan has this kind of a barbarian, evil, just rapist.
Well, they're just so good at it. They were so good at murder. They were so good at war. I mean, just so uniquely good at military strategy.
So it's about, he always kept the army to about 100,000. It's small. So it's 100,000 horses. Each soldier had 5 horses, so 4 spare horses with them. So imagine it's 500,000
Which they
horses.
use their blood to fuel them.
Yeah, they would
use
consume
that
the
for
blood.
food.
So it's very portable.
Yeah.
They're not bringing
Right.
logistically the whole. I mean, this isn't. It's just imagine this armada moving
Mm-hmm.
at like. They can move like 50 miles a day, this entire army, and they don't have to follow the roads, which all
Right.
the military would follow the roads. So you can
Right.
go around, you can surround, and they did as you know, they can retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Feign retreat and then attack from the sides.
Yep.
It's the blitzkrieg. That's the
Genius stuff.
and a lot of people, including Dan Carlin, say it's the greatest military in history. They
Yeah.
would defeat every single military, including Napoleon, with the muskets and everything.
Yeah.
They would destroy Napoleon. And then, of course, in the 20th century.
You know what they didn't defeat? Samurais.
Right. But
Yeah.
they never really fought.
They did.
They twice they fought, but it's not
and
a
they were
real
like,
battle.
These
It's-
guys are fucking crazy. They thought they were crazy. These guys were like practicing their whole lives for one-on-one combat with swords.
As far as I know, they never really had a full-on battle. I wish they did.
There were some battles. There was battles on an island, one of the
Right.
islands outside of Japan, but the Japanese successfully held off the Mongols.
So-
And they were like one of the only civilizations to ever pull that off.
I think one of the issues with Mongols, except Kublai Khan, is they were not good with water. They didn't know how to. The ship thing was not.
Oh. What a big mistake.
Well,
Imagine if they got as good with water as they were with horses. That would have been a real problem.
Well, a lot of things they had advantage on, like for example, they can ride on ice, and so
How'd they do that?
in Mongolia, these people like
Did
ride
they have
horse-
different horseshoes? Did
I
they even
don't-
shoe their horses back then?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No, it's all like they don't have like.
When did they start shoeing horses?
That's a good question. But
You
that
know?
doesn't feel like a Mongol thing. I mean, the
Right,
people
it doesn't.
can ride the
They were
mounted
riding
archery.
bareback. Yeah. Oh, my
I'm
God.
sure you know about this.
The mountain archery is so insane. They had the ability to hang off the side of the horse, so they would shoot from under the horse's neck. So they were completely defended by the horse, and they were shooting arrows, and their bows were 160 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to be insane. They said that a lot of the skeletons they find from that era, their bones are deformed because your whole body has just been pulling 160 pounds with your right arm or your left arm, like your whole life. So your right side is like insanely muscled, and your bones are all twisted and thicker and denser tendons and everything because they've been doing that since they were children. They were
They
an
start out at like
insanely-
2 years old.
Yeah, insanely formidable army. Insanely formidable. But here's something to take into consideration when we're saying about like how Genghis Khan's genes were spread. But just right off the bat, it's all awful, all horrible. I wish no one ever got killed by anybody ever. It's all awful. All war is hell. All of it. All's hell. There was so much of it going on throughout human history that women there was a survival mechanism in accepting this conqueror as your new husband when he slaughtered your husband. This is the only way your genes passed on. So these women were able, even if they said they fell in love with him, even if they did marry him, even if they were happy to marry him, there was like almost an evolutionary requirement because we slaughtered each other so much that if you wanted your genes to pass on, you had to accept the slaughter of your former mate.
And then in modern day society, we will call that rape.
Right.
But you have to use different words for that time,
Right.
because there is rape where it's like violent rape as part of war, as part of a mechanism of terror.
I think even as just part of society up until like a few thousand years ago, or even a few hundred years ago. I think human beings, like I've had a bunch of friends who've served overseas, and the stories they tell from Afghanistan, especially with the child raping, is fucking bone curdling. Like you blood curdling. Just like you just want to leave the room when they're talking. You don't even want to hear this. You don't want to think that this is happening, and